Hello, John Cashier here from NLPcourses.com, where we're exploring NLP, sometimes outrageous, controversial, and hopefully transformational. We're going to usher you past the velvet curtain and into the inner workings of an NLP mind. So in the last video, we started to explore something called association and disassociation. And what I want to do is just take a moment to expand on that, because I do believe it's one of the most powerful aspects of what we were calling sub-modalities. And if you've just dropped into this video now and you're not sure what sub-modality is, go back and find the sub-modality video and then come back and join us. So, association and disassociation is also a safety mechanism your unconscious mind uses to protect you in a traumatic situation. So if you're in a traumatic situation and you still need to function, if you don't need to function, you may process the emotion there and then, but if you still need to function, your unconscious mind pulls you out of that and disassociates you from what's going on. Now, I had the pleasure of meeting Jim Windsor from the UK Army. Jim's a great guy. If you're watching, Jim, hi. Now, part of his job is, if when you've gone to a war zone and you're coming back, his job is to help get your head straight. He's an amazing guy. And the Army noticed several things. Because if you think about it, if you go over to a war zone and you've got to do some of those incredible things on our behalf, do you think you need to be associated or disassociated from what's going on? Yes, it's disassociated, because if somebody's pointing a gun at you, you can't be thinking that they have a family and kids, etc., because your life's at stake. So they do some amazing things that we just cannot comprehend on our behalves. But do you think they will affect them as human beings? And will they need to at some point process that out? Yeah? And one of the things about the UK Army, one of the things they've been doing is tracking those. So there's some danger times. So when you come back from a war zone, you don't come straight back into the UK. You normally have a buffer zone, which is normally in Cyprus on the beach, where you're just hanging out, barbecues, playing football, and just letting off a bit of steam. When you come back into the UK, you do not go directly back with your families. I'm sure you want to, but you can't. You have to stay on camp. You can visit them, but you stay on camp, because those first week or so it's a time when you might start to process some of this stuff out. The next danger zone in that situation would normally be between 18 to 24 months after experience, when you've got that bit of distance on what's going on, where the brain says, okay, we've got to start working on some of this stuff, and starts to associate them to the situation. And you know, the Army does a lot to support these guys in that situation, because they know those are danger zones and want to put the help in place. But also, have you noticed that maybe you heard there's a pile up on the motorway? Somebody climbs out of their car and spends 20 minutes helping other people. The emergency service arrives and says, "Excuse me, sir, do you know half your stomach's hanging out?" And the person who's been helping everyone else goes, "What do you mean?" "Yeah." And over they go. Because in a traumatic situation, you do get pulled out of it. But also in these professions like ambulance, the doctors, police, fire brigade, army, they have a safety valve, because if you're constantly disassociated from that, it's obviously going to affect you. So there is a safety valve. And that safety valve is called humour. And from the outside world, often some of that humour, well, for want of a better phrase, sounds very sick. It really does. But it's only meant for people inside it. It's not meant for anyone else. And it's a safety valve, because if they didn't do that, it would affect them. And it's also, we have to remember, if you notice, if somebody in the family dies, there's somebody who takes over the organisation, because when somebody passes on, there is a lot to do. There really is a lot. And whether they've been appointed to or just decide for whatever reason, okay, I need to sort all this out, they seem to kind of disassociate from the process. Just, you know, obviously upset, but disassociated from it. They get the paperwork done while everyone else around them's collapsing. They're getting on with what needs to be done. And then, and you never really get over these things, you just don't. But 3 months afterwards, where other people are starting to move on, starting to, you know, get on with their lives, they will start to go through the grieving process, i.e. they will start to associate to what's just happened. And we have to remember that they were there to support us when we were going through that grieving. We also need to be there to help them go through their grieving process, because it's an important process to go through. So association and disassociation is one of the ways the brain uses to protect you, especially if in a situation that is emotional. It doesn't have to be traumatic, it can be emotional, that you have to still function. How you do that is you disassociate from that. But like these things, sometimes you do need to associate because you want to process it out of the body. So if you've got any questions, if you've got any examples that you would like to share with us, if you would like me to expand on any jargon or any applications to any of the topics within NLP, head straight over to nlpcourses.com. Find the video page, leave me a message. Just say hi if you want to. Any questions, post it there and I will create a video just for you to answer your questions. So have a successful week, and everybody here at nlpcourses.com, we wish you well and we'll talk soon.